often get asked, how much to rehearse? How much rehearsal is good rehearsal? So I'm going to answer that. TED Talks master Chris Anderson says, and I quote him, rehearsing is like climbing a mountain. If you start your climb but stop immediately, you'll never get to the top. If you only rehearse once or twice for a presentation and stop, you appear robotic. You need to keep climbing to get the summit and reach the point where you've internalized your message, when that message has become a part of you. Steve Jobs, we know, one of the most outstanding business speakers of his time, the Apple guy. In his book, Becoming Steve Jobs, the authors write, and I quote, Steve would rehearse endlessly and fastidiously, non-stop. He would spend hours for just a 10 minutes presentation or a demo. Shah Rukh Khan, the king of Bollywood, ruling the heads and hearts of billions around the world. He is known to have rehearsed for 6 hours for a 2.5 minute long scene in his latest film, Donkey. While the number of times you rehearse depends on your personal style, I have noticed that most of my students are inclined to rehearse their pitches or their speeches or presentations at least 8 to 10 times. That makes it comfortable for them and makes them conversant with the structure as well as the exact flow. I believe the number of times you need to practice is also dependent on, apart from depending on the complexity of the topic, depends on the number of people you're going to present it to. So if you're going to give a TED talk in front of hundreds of people, you may want to be 200% sure about the whole thing. So double the normal rehearsals wouldn't hurt. My personal mantra, how much to rehearse? There's a fun thumb rule that I tell my clients. I say, practice till you get sick and tired of hearing your own voice. Because that'll happen only when you've practiced enough. Tell yourself again and again and again, one more time from the top. When I was in school, I would mostly speak extempore. I used to find the idea of practicing a total waste of time and boring. I'd rather go out and play badminton than stand in front of the mirror and rehearse. Also, I used to think if I speak without preparing it, without memorizing anything, it'll sound fresh and spontaneous, punchy, The audience will think I'm speaking from the heart. And since I knew the topic, whatever I was going to be talking about, I thought, how hard could it be? So, I would not rehearse. I would not practice. As the public speaking medals and trophies on my shelf grew in number, I became more and more convinced that whatever I was thinking was absolutely right. The typical overconfident child. Once, I showed the recording of my graduation speech to my mentor and guru, Dr. Bhavani. As usual, I had spoken without preparation, without practice. I showed her because I was actually fishing for compliments and eagerly waiting for her pat on my back. She saw the whole thing very patiently, typical her, and smiled. And she said, "Good work, Sarika." And I thought, wow, it's coming. She continued, "Good work, Sarika. You've always spoken well. You would have been even more impactful if you'd prepared it." That was an anticlimax. That brought me to my senses. How did she know I hadn't prepared? Did the others who heard me feel the same? Did they know I was not prepared? Oh God. When you watch the best swimmers, their strokes seem completely natural, completely effortless. The reason they look so at ease is because of the months and years of non-stop practice that they've invested in the sport. You guessed it right. The golden rule, the magic mantra to control the stage, to rule the stage, to communicate effectively with the audience is rehearsal. We have to accept that a huge amount of prep goes into that off-the-cuff speech, and for that speaking from the heart, surely some preparation wouldn't bother our heart. And investing time, effort and thought into preparing a talk from the heart is worth every minute of the rehearsal. Today in this episode, we'll solve 3 puzzles. Why to rehearse, how to rehearse, and how much to rehearse. Also, at the end of the podcast, I promise to share a very valuable, magical bonus tip from my personal secret closet. So, I suggest you don't miss that one if you're really looking to rule the stage. Let's roll! Author Lee Warren says in his famous book, The Busy Person's Guide to Great Presenting, and I quote him, "When you think of rehearsing, you only have 2 options. You either rehearse before a presentation or you rehearse in front of the audience. So you can take your pick. You can do mistakes and goof ups and act silly while practicing, that is, in rehearsals. The question is, do you want to do these mistakes, these goof ups, these acting silly behavior in front of an audience? If you don't, then please stay tuned. Any kind of practice session can be called a rehearsal. It can be a wedding rehearsal, song, speech, or just any practice session. If you have a group event such as a play or a dance, you'll have a huge team to rehearse with. A stage manager, coordinator, show organizer, musicians, speakers, singers, and so on. Everyone's timing, frequency, body language, chemistry has to be technically and artistically in sync. You cannot not practice. There's no 2 ways about it. Everyone rehearses when it's a teamwork. Actors rehearse the scene several times. Singers rehearse their songs, their voice countless times. Even the Republic Day parade has several rehearsals before the final event. The question is rehearsal really needed if you're doing something solo? If yes, let's find out. BTS, with a following of 30 plus million followers on social media, confirmed in their own words in an interview that they have a rehearsal routine of 12 to 15 hours every single day. How can public speaking practice be any different? Imagine you're giving a talk or a presentation. If you have not practiced or rehearsed it well, chances are that you'll have a lot of verbal fillers in what you're saying. Phrases like, it's like, you may even draw a blank because you're unprepared. And because you're unprepared, you'll panic. So one thing leads to the other. If you're giving an interview, you will actually give the person who's interviewing you more than a few dead giveaways to show that you have not prepared. So yes, let's get this straight. Rehearsals are 100% done thing. If you want to rule the stage, solo or team, it doesn't matter. Like it or not, practice, prepare, you must. Now that we know that if we want to rule the stage, we cannot not rehearse, what is the best way to rehearse? How to rehearse? While there's no thumb rule to follow, each person has his own rehearsing style. Some like to rehearse word for word, inch by inch, top to bottom. Some prepare the skeleton, then flesh up the body as they go along. Some can memorize brilliantly well, and some, like me, can't learn even the basic maths tables verbatim. So as promised, I will show you how to rehearse based on my learnings from all my trainings and experiences, and also what I've taught effectively to my students, which they've loved over the last 2 decades. I'll show you what strategy works for me personally and what my students have found most useful, hoping that this helps you plan your strategy. So, there are 3 steps involved in my rehearsal modus operandi. Step number 1. As a first step, before every speech I give, I write down every word of what I will say. Literally every word. This goes for my podcast too. There I'm not lazy. It gives me the confidence to wing it on the spot. So write down every word of whatever you're going to say as your step number 1. Moving on. Now, the step number 2 is that whatever I've written, I read it, just generally read it a couple of times in my different moods, in different tones, at different places in my house, till I find the right voice modulation. So I've written, I've read. Now comes the final step. Step number 3. I pick up my phone or go to my studio. You can use any room which is quiet. Here, I record my entire speech in the perfect voice, perfect tone, and perfect pitch that I would want to play it or say it out. Over the next few days, I hear this recording in my car when I'm driving. I hear it when I'm cooking. I hear it when I do my morning walks. And I try to hear it till I'm really bored of hearing it. What happens is that when I hear the words again and again and again, they start to echo in my head, reverberate in my head. And I begin to remember what I hear automatically. You know why? The same way that you automatically remember the lyrics of a trending song. Just because you were crossing the house, you were hearing it in the store, you were hearing it on the TV, you heard it so many times in the car, at home, anywhere else. There is one suggestion that I have found worth sharing about how not to rehearse. And it's important. So I would say, don't mug up your speech. Don't rote learn it. It'll make it too robotic. Feel the pulse of the moment. See the audience's mood. Crack a joke only when your audience would really appreciate it. And actually leave something to spontaneity. So that's my personal speaking rehearsal strategy to rule the stage. How I write my speech to make sure I communicate effectively, I promise to cover in yet another podcast. I promised you that before I sign out of today's episode, I'm going to share a truly magical, true personal secret, a bonus strategy that I use, and the one that has worked well for me. As you get closer to the day of your speech, rehearse it well, at least once, just before going to bed. There's science behind this. Sleep, apart from giving you the rest, has an important function. Sleep helps us in memory consolidation, which means moving information from short-term memory to long-term memory. Which means if you rehearse before sleeping, just before sleeping, it'll stay in your memory far better and far more easily. So remember, rehearse your speech once before sleeping every time and then hit the hay. Thank you for listening to this episode of Communicate 101 Speaking Writing Tips with Sarika Singh. If you want to be notified of upcoming episodes, be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow the podcast. I'll be back to share more stories, more life experiences, and more communication tips every Friday. If you want to reach me or connect with me, just put your comments in the comment box below or mail me at info@sarikasingh.in. I know you're going to rate and review this podcast, so a big thank you in advance. Stay tuned and think about what we talked today.